Fanatically Correct. Brought to you by us, fans like you, but mostly us.
In a dark corner of the world, three men will work together to bring you a podcast like no other. This is Fanatically Correct, where the fans, the geeks, and the nerds are always correct. With your host, MSK, Yo Peace, and Omega.
Hey everyone, MSK here, and well, here's the next interview from the Sunrise City ComicCon with voice actor Aaron Dismuke. He's been in a couple of animes, including My Hero Academia and my personal favorite, Fullmetal Alchemist. So sit back, relax, and check it out.
Alrighty, so now with us, let's get ready to Q&A. Over here on the stage with me, with experience within the entertainment industry of about 20 years, starting at the young age of 9. That's correct, right?
Yes.
9. A body of work spanning over 200 projects in voice acting, writing, and sound. You may have heard of him in such animes as Ruby, Eskin Flow, Fruits Basket, My Hero Academia. Over at Fanatically Correct, we mostly know him as Alphonse Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist. And so, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, Aaron Dismuke. Let's give him a hand. Do you have enough cord there?
Hi.
You want to move the seat forward a little
No,
bit?
I think I'm all
good?
set now.
And I put that water there for you, so
Thank you.
you can lubricate the throat. All right,
it's
we're going to
great
get
to be
started. We'll ask them some easy questions, get us started, and then whenever you feel, you can stand up. If everybody already has a good question already, you can get them to the mic, so you're the first one up. To start off, I asked about the 9 years old thing because that's impressive. We actually have a inspiring voice actor in the crowd. That story, how did you get started at 9 years old?
Yeah, so I'm like the worst person to ask this one because the answer is nepotism. So this was like, it was 19 years ago. And so Funimation was a very new company that only had a few titles to its name. And so actors weren't really like lining up to try and get work with them. Which meant that I had zero competition when I first started in terms of other kids my age. So basically, they were normally using adult women who were just sort of like scratching their voices up to try to sound like little boys. And my cousin, Justin Cook, was directing a show called Fruits Basket. And he was like, well, what if I tried using a real little boy? And I was the one young boy that he knew, so he brought me in. I was also pretending to read Lord of the Rings when I was 9, so I say pretending because I don't think much of it stuck with me. But yeah, he brought me in because I was fairly literate, and a lot of the voice acting has to do with sight reading. You have to be a very strong reader to be able to see words for the first time and say them and not sound like you're just reading. So I was able to do that part at least. And then, as I grew up, I sort of what I lost in sounding authentically young, I gained in skill as an actor. So yeah, that's how I got started. I will say, I want to share some stories that are actually helpful to anyone here who wants to be an actor. I know many actors who've gotten in through the open audition process at Funimation. So Justin Briner and Sarah Wiedenheft, for example, they both they moved to Flower Mound, Texas, or, the Dallas area in Texas. And then they emailed Funimation at, I think it's just voiceacting@funimation.com. And they said, hey, I'd like to get onto your audition list. And then they waited like a year. And they took acting classes in the meantime, and they did theater stuff. And after a year, they got called in, and they rocked their auditions, and now they're on the roster. And, obviously, like the Justin Briner story, it starts there. And now he's the main character in My Hero Academia. So, yeah, that's the route that I would suggest to y'all. There's a lot of other routes that are similar to it. Zach Aguilar, he's the main character in Demon Slayer. He got his start by doing an at a convention contest with Bang Zoom, which is crazy. I could never have done that because he did it like it was like a panel thing. So he was in front of hundreds of people voice acting in this contest, and he beat out every competitor. So there are options like that available. For the most part, I do think that the key is to first learn your craft. be good so that when you get your chance, you are prepared for it. And you'll know, the more prepared you are and the more time you've spent researching and learning your craft, the less nervous you'll be when your moment comes. And I think that's important too.
So at that young of an age, because I understand like a lot of the dub work is the timing also. Like I think you kind of mentioned a bit. So you're actually watching, I believe, video of the previous animation, and I guess you're trying to have to time it with the speaking and the movement of the mouth. So I guess because I know that you've also done some writing, is that what moved you into that direction? Like did you start actually becoming fluent a little bit in the other languages, or like to try and learn the craft better as to getting better at that timing of to try and line up the words or simplifying the words or accentuating the words to to make it line up when the characters are speaking?
Yeah. So, all right, I'll tackle that in a couple spots. First off, I think the timing aspect is something that sort of held me back at a young age. And that's kind of why Alphonse was such an ideal character for me, is because he didn't have any flaps to match timing for. I highly doubt they would have cast me as a similar character. In fact, the first character I auditioned for that was sort of for a bigger show was the kid in Detective Conan. And I was like, ooh, that would be cool. But I think they were scared of trying to have me do that many flaps. And rightly so. I think I would have struggled, especially early on. Like the way that would have gone is like the first 20 episodes of Detective Conan would be like really hard to watch. And then after that, I might have been decent. But yeah, so Alphonse was really easy, or he was a lot easier because he didn't have flaps. Now, in terms of my writing gig, making me better at timing and Japanese fluency, no, I'm not fluent in Japanese. The best thing I can do for the writing gig is I can use the manga as a second translation, but I'm working off the same translation that y'all see for subtitles, but with notes from the translator explaining stuff. So there are times where the dub can give a little bit more nuance than the subtitle translation because we have more space to work with than the subtitles do. Subtitles are designed to be as concise as possible so that you can quickly get the information you need and then go back to the action. Get the information you need, go back to the action. Whereas the dub is designed to take up all of the pre-animated mouth movement space. So that's why, you'll get those times if you're watching subtitles where, you see that the line is like, I'll kill you, but the dialogue is like the equivalent of like, I'm going to just say gibberish. Sakushewa shibushabushabufu. Tada tada wa. Like, and that's not, I'm not trying to knock Japanese. I just don't know it. But like, obviously what I just said there is a lot longer than what you would need to say, I'll kill you. Yeah. And so what's really happening is the subtitle translator is like, that's the gist of it. And so you're getting the gist of it. And if I'm lucky, as an adaptive writer, either the manga will say more than the gist of it, or the subtitle translator will tell me what it is that they're omitting. And that's when I have the opportunity to sort of give you more of the original experience than you would otherwise have access to.
Any audience questions yet? Anybody want to come up? We'll take it right in the front and we'll come straight to you. Come on up. Say your name and ask your question.
Hello.
Nice.
I'm Jessica.
I just gave my little brother Portal.
Oh my gosh, such a good game.
I know, it's amazing. Gladys is so mean. I love her.
Yes. I'm working on starting to get into voice acting freelance. So I was wondering, I've sort of set up, like, I've made a closet in my house, kind of a temporary booth.
Great first step.
So you were talking about how you can get on waiting lists with certain groups. I know a lot of voice work is centered either in Texas or LA. Mm-hmm. To get in with big names, do you need to be in those areas off the bat, or can you start kind of like I'm doing from a distance?
To get in with the big studios, you do want to be in the area that they are. So like if you were to get onto Funimation's audition list, then what would happen is like in a year and a half, COVID's kind of slowed them down. So it could be longer. They'll just randomly email you and they'll be like, can you come in to audition?
Oh, okay.
And they want you in the studio and they'll give you a little booklet and the booklet will have a bunch of characters who are just sort of archetypal that have already been recorded, and you'll pick the archetype that you want to try, or the archetypes you want to try, and you'll read for, like I could go in and, if it were me, I could go in and like try to do my best Natsu Dragneel. Like that's the sort of characters that they have up there.
Okay.
And yeah, if they like it, then they'll add you to a sort of database. Basically, like the director who does the open auditions will sort of give all the actors who show up a report card. Mm-hmm. And then whenever directors are casting for their Walla sessions, which is background voices,
right.
They'll call you in. And so that's why it has to be in person. It's because what's going to happen is you're going to start out doing your time in Walla. Mm-hmm. And so for maybe 6 months. So first you wait a year and a half. And then you'll wait 6 months where you're just doing Walla like once a week, if that. And then you'll get your first small part.
Right.
And then you're on the audition list for real. So that's sort of how it goes. And that process is very difficult to do from afar. Okay. The only way that you get in from afar, and luckily, this is the silver lining of COVID, is that it's made remote recording a little bit more possible. But it's a double-edged sword, right? Because remote recording is more possible, which means potentially the door's open to you. Mm-hmm. But that door is currently crammed with people from LA who have established careers, resumes, and just established skill. So to compete with them from here, what I would suggest to you is to get as many indie projects under your belt as you can, getting acting degree if you can. And then that said, eventually you probably would want to move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Best
I appreciate
of luck.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
If you come by, if you catch me anytime, I can give you a Twitter handle to follow for finding open audition stuff.
I'd appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and say the guy's name, actually. It's Belshaber Rusape. He is an awesome resource to newer actors who are trying to get into the indie online scene. He's got like a great pulse on that scene. He knows all the people. Yeah, great guy.
Come up and ask a question. I would take it also like what you were just saying about competing with the other voice actors. Obviously, your at-home recording setup is, I would think, would be pretty impressive as well. Good high-tech microphones and soundproofing walls and all that good stuff to, better provide the audio that you're giving over to the industry.
Yeah, so that's the other thing you're up against is like, so my setup is by no means the best, but I have a whisper booth, which is like how to describe it? It's like a mobile soundproof. It's a closet made of soundproofing that I had to assemble in my house. It took a while.
Also, probably good to just like walk in and scream when you're really stressed out. And
Yeah.
Just get it out.
Yeah, it's nice because I can do auditions at 2 a.m. and not wake up my roommates. And then I've got a Neumann microphone. Neumann? I forget how you say it. Anyway, you're up against people who have this. My setup is me trying to replicate the setup at Funimation, the studio I work for, as closely as possible so that directors won't worry about, will Aaron sound weird next to all the other people if he records from home? So yeah, you're up against that too. That said, I don't know. If you have good equipment and you're able to, you turn off your AC if it's getting too loud and stuff like that. What I like to do is I'll set the AC really low and then I'll turn it off before I record. Yeah. Or that's what I liked to do before I had the whisper booth. Now that I have the whisper booth, I don't have to worry about AC, which is wonderful. I got to tell y'all, it gets hot.
Yeah, time out. I got to get a whisper booth. I just say, if you listen to our podcast, I've had AC issues with our editor. I'm glad he's not on the mic with us right now because he'll be giving me dirty looks and saying exactly that. Because I've had some AC problems myself, forgetting to turn it off. I'll put it really low, make the house lights go, and then I forget to turn it off.
Yeah.
But sorry, the whisper
I'll
booth
give you another one. I record from the closet.
Yeah, he goes in regular closet. Yeah. So filled with clothes also helps absorb some of the sound. So there's tricks, YouTube. There's a lot of life hacks that help to get as best of a sound as possible.
There's stuff you could put onto your air vent that'll muffle its sounds as well. You got options.
That helps.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Aaron, John, we met earlier.
Hey, how you been?
Been good. So you voiced a lot of characters over the years, and I've noticed with some, like Tamaki from My Hero Academia or Oscar from Ruby, you can achieve such a believable sense of self-deprecation with these characters that are so hard on themselves. Is there like a mental attitude or something that you just get into?
Man, I feel very seen. Yeah, that's probably the easiest thing to do for me.
Wow.
In all my acting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that doesn't take much. The other stuff is harder. Yeah.
Any other questions? Anybody else want to come up to the mic? Raise your hand. If you're shy, you can ask from the back of the room. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, we got somebody? There we go. Here, come into the mic. Introduce yourself. Ask your question.
Hi, I exist.
Sure you do.
Yes, you do.
No, hi.
It's sort of a request. Since you voiced Tamaki, do you think you can do him accepting a love request? It's for a friend, totally.
Do him accepting a what?
A love request.
A love request.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tamaki knows this person like that.
Let's say
His
it's
heart's-
Mirio. Or Nejire.
I don't know if I can do this shipping business for you. So first of all, what I will tell you is that I think Mirio's probably ace. He just doesn't seem like I just can't picture him getting romantic with anyone.
Yeah,
I just feel like if anybody tried to hit on him, he would just like feng shui it into like misunderstanding it. Okay, I'll tell y'all. There was a fan who came up and they said, they asked, I was doing one of these with Rico, he's the voice actor for Mirio, and they were like, all right, Mirio, smash or pass on Tamaki. And Rico, and everybody's like, oh my gosh. And then Rico was like, well, smash, of course. I would love to smash some villains with Tamaki. And I think that just really captures the essence of Mirio. Yeah. That was me feng shuiing your question, yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? Thank you. Yeah, come on up. Say your name, ask a question.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
Nice
I just
to
want
meet
to
you.
know how involved are like the Japanese companies in like the dubbing process? Like, they tend to be very conservative and like the way they portray their characters.
Yeah, it varies tremendously. I'm working on a project right now where the licensor has to approve every single line that I adapt.
Yeah.
Because I'm also an adaptive writer. That's kind of my main bread and butter gig. Similarly, there are projects like Dr. Stone and Attack on Titan that I work on where we have agreed with the licensor that we're going to change just as little as possible. And whenever we do make changes, we do it in order to match the manga. On the flip side, there are shows like Kaguya-sama where the licensor wanted to approve, ironically enough, I think only my voice. They're like, we need to hear this Dismuke guy. The rest are probably fine. And they were like, yeah, I guess he's deep enough. Eventually, yeah, they approved it. But then after they approved my voice on it, they didn't need any approval on the final scripts. And so the scripts you'll see are pretty loose on like the Kaguya-sama dub. Yeah. So it varies tremendously from licensor to licensor and show to show. I think One Piece is another example where the licensor is very much like, please stick with our translation. And if we hear that otherwise happens, we will be displeased and you will need to change it.
No ghost stories, right?
Yeah, no more ghost stories. Well, I mean, that said, if you watch, like, if you can look up, there are some clips about the Kaguya dub on YouTube that are under titles such as Kaguya dub radiating chaotic energy. Kaguya dub goes buck wild. It's a lot. I'm trying to remember the other ones. You are not immune to Kaguya dub, but that one doesn't really explain what I was talking about. The point there was that sometimes like the Kaguya dub has been compared to a Ghost Stories dub. Like if you look at those videos on the comments, they're like, this is the new Ghost Story. This is Ghost Stories, but way more PG appropriate.
Oh man.
I mean, listen, there are some things in ghost stories that it's like, if you make that joke in 2020, you're doomed.
Yeah, it's not coming back from that.
Like, yeah, I mean, there are some wild jokes in the ghost stories. I mean,
Yeah, it's the gym. You never will see that again.
No
that's
need
like
to
South
elaborate.
Park humor.
Yeah, no need to elaborate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do the examples.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see what anybody wants to think of some other questions. Something I like to ask a lot of, especially when I go to cons and I'm on that end of the room, a lot of times, especially with voice actors and someone who's, you have a lot of projects you've done. Is there a specific role or genre or like type of character that you feel you have yet gotten to play that you're still like, that you're really thriving for?
Oh gosh, this isn't out yet, but I just got to do it. I'm just getting into this where I get to. So Moriarty the Patriot is a show that I just I did it like 3 months ago, but it's he's a fancy boy. I mean, he's ostensibly a man, but he's an anime character, so he looks like a boy to me. So I call him a fancy boy, and he's also British. And so that's a new archetype that I'm really enjoying getting into, which is just people who sound a bit more educated, and frankly, a bit effeminate. I quite enjoy them. That's not the Moriarty voice because it would actually be British,
saying something
but I'm going to
similar.
save that. Do what?
You say you're just doing something similar.
Yeah.
What that is.
And I also did that in a show called OnStars, like Ensemble Stars, which is based on a mobile game, and the show itself is kind of a strange, it's really just like a somewhat confusing advertisement for a mobile game is what that show amounts to. But my character in it is the student council president. He's this sort of evil, fancy, manipulative kind of guy. And again, I really enjoy that.
So almost like a good looking Stewie from Family Guy.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
absolutely.
Because you're saying like the villainous and like that's like
Yeah.
that's like that sounds exactly like a Stewie.
Yeah, I've been enjoying doing handsome Stewie characters. Yeah,
The football.
I like that a lot.
Anybody else want to come up? You think we might do an audible? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna bring up because it actually was brought up a little bit earlier. Your character in My Hero Academia, Tamaki Amajiki. I found out today. I've been watching Fullmetal Alchemist, but I haven't gotten into My Hero yet. So I found out today Sun Eater is his hero's name. So I do have my co-host's niece. She's actually aspiring to act as well. And she actually had an audition today in Orlando. That's why she's not here, because she was going to ask you one of her questions in person. So we're going to let her ask you one question.
Cool.
Of 3 ones that already got approved.
Her
Hi.
name is Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
Oh, this is cool.
Ask your question, Allie.
If you could be any of the anime characters that you have done, which would you be?
If you could be in real life, any of the anime characters that you play, who would it be?
Oh, that's cool. So that's interesting because sometimes people will ask me, I don't think I've ever been asked this, because I've been asked if I could live in any of the anime worlds, which one would I pick? And I'm always like, no, thank you. It's like, best case scenario, I'm in a world without air conditioning. And worst case scenario, I'm in a world that's like collapsing around me, which is very exciting to watch someone else go through, but no thank you for me. But if I can be the character, that kind of makes up for it. Yeah, and we know in My Hero Academia that everything's going to turn out okay. So I think I'll be, but I don't want that. Like, I've got enough anxiety as it is. I don't think I want to be Sun Eater. This is tough. Definitely not Ruby. That kid gets punched and punched and punched. Senku's cool, but no air conditioning. But he's in Japan. How hot does it get in Japan?
You're like myself. I can't live without air
I
conditioning.
can still be. Yeah, no, I'll pick Senku. Because, he's a genius. And he can reinvent air conditioning. And if he's me, then we'll get right to it. They're going to be like, aren't we going to get ready for the war with the Tsukasa Empire? And I'm like, yeah, just 1 second. I just can't think in this heat. We're going to admit Freon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take it. She actually had two more, but I'll follow up with them. And one actually I like is real good. And I think all the My Hero fans would like, which is if you could have any of the quirks in My Hero Academia, which one would it be? Basically a superpower question.
Yeah.
Very a wonderful nerd question, especially at a con.
Oh, that's really interesting. Definitely one of the ones that lets you like pseudo fly. Bakugo's is weird though because it's sweat related. I don't want to have sweaty palms. Nobody talks about how like weird it would be to like shake hands with him, or like what if it's just straight up hot outside but he's not trying to fight. He's just like dripping napalm. Like that can't be good.
That's what he does in place of the joy buzzer.
So probably not that one. When I'm asked what superpower I want, I usually pick teleportation.
That's a good power.
Towards the end of stopping villains in the most efficient way possible, I think I would go for Shinso's power. Yeah. Which, for y'all that don't know, he's the guy who, if he asks you a question and you answer it, he can make you do whatever. Yeah, I think that could be very, very solid for the villain fighting. Yeah, and I also think I could have, like, it wouldn't have been pretty, mind you, but I think I could have done better at the big contest to get in. Like all he had to do was like ask like 10 of the stronger hero kids who were trying to get in. When at the big robot competition where it's like however many robots you smash determines if you get in. He just needed to get like 10 kids to help him. Be like, all right, so listen, once you get your robot, I need you to, bring me a robot and then I'll punch it softly. And then you make it fall apart. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you. And they're like, wait, I don't have a choice. I'm like, I'm sorry that they didn't make this test better. So, you should really file a formal complaint about the unfairness of this test. It's really not working out for you. Yep.
A very good power suggestion. Any more questions from the audience? Yeah, come on up. Thank you for joining us. Say your name and ask your question.
Hi, my name is Ariel.
Hi.
I have a sister who is here, and she's a really big My Hero fan. And my question is, what is your favorite Tamaki line?
My favorite Tamaki line. Okay, it's probably also hi, sister. Okay, so it's probably I've got a light that can swallow even the suns. That's why I'm Sun Eater. I thought that it really it was one of the moments where I felt like the dub was able to surpass the subtitled version, because the subtitled version was yes, I am one who eats even the sun. I am the Sun Eater. And I thought that sounded a little goofy, especially I am the Sun Eater. Like, it's like the Spider-Man. Yeah, so like I was able to establish causality in like my name is based around this idea that I can potentially be a rival to Mirio. And I felt like we captured that really well in the dub. And the idea of like me having a light of my own, we were able to work that in even though it wasn't in the original translation. And the reason that I felt that it was really justified was because right at the beginning, the question that I ask at the beginning of my episode is, and I wonder, could I shine too? Could I ever shine as brightly as he does as I'm watching him charge ahead? And so that moment in our dub, we were able to make it a culmination of all the beats that had led up to it. And we were able to answer that question of, can I shine too? Yes, because I have a light that can swallow the suns. Yeah, so that's my favorite. Also, I ended up adapting that myself as I was driving home from the first session. And I called Colleen. I like pulled over on the side of the road 10 minutes after my session, called Colleen, and I was like, I've got it. Can you write it? And she was like, yeah. I could have texted, I guess. I was excited.
Anybody else? Question? There we go. Come on up. Oh, sorry. It was her, and then you could go. Yeah, come first. Sorry, you're next. Thank you.
Maybe I did text. I don't want to lie to y'all.
While you were driving? No. You pulled over. You pulled over like a good.
I pulled over,
like a
but I
good
might have
driver.
pulled over to text. Anyway,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Hi, my name's Dakota. We met earlier.
Hello. How have you been?
Good.
Are you enjoying the con?
Mm-hmm.
Glad to hear it.
My question was, who is your favorite My Hero Academia character out of all of them?
Other than your own, because that's too easy.
Yeah. I mean, Shinso's pretty cool. I really do like that character. He's so funny to me. Like, I love his existence because, like, it's like all of the fights that Deku struggled with, if you just swap out Deku for Shinso, they're really simple. It's like Shinso like is fighting Overhaul and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And Overhaul's like, I'm fulfilling my father's real and then Shinso's like, "Well, cut it out." And then he's like, "Okay." Yeah, sit down. Yeah, and stay still. Good. All right. Think about what you've done. Think about your choices. Yeah, same with Muscular. Yeah. So that's why I like him. I just think his power is hilarious.
Thank you.
He makes every fight trivial, unless if the villain like plugs their ears and shouts la 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 la.
Say your name, ask your question.
My name's Marco. Going back to the question about quirks, a lot of the quirks in My Hero Academia are, let's say, of questionable usefulness. Some of them are quite...
Yeah, like, I mean, it's been very impressive how Uraraka manages to stay relevant.
Yeah, there's some really weird powers.
With just, yeah, this doesn't weigh anything anymore for a while.
So, what would you think would be the absolute worst quirk to end up with?
Interesting. Perhaps, I mean, like, there's a lot of things that could be useless. Like, you could have the power to produce uniquely stinky sweat. You could have the power to phase through spider webs. I think that one.
That's an excellent power.
I mean, it's actually
because everyone becomes a kung fu master when you step through a spider web. So you don't have to do that. Just phase right through it. As long as it's automatic, because we have to see it before you do it, then defeats the purpose.
That is a nice, moderately useful power. Like, if there was a genie who was like, "So listen, I'm not the best of genies, but you know, if you keep it small, I can help you out." Then I might pick phasing through spider webs. You're saying out of the people who we know, their powers. Okay. Am I just gonna keep laying it on to Uraraka? I mean, she does good stuff with it, but gosh, on the surface, does it seem bad? Oh, it's Tail Guy. Ochiro. Oh, what a terrible power. This is gonna get back to my. This is not the first con where I've thrown stones at. It's Ochiro, right? That's his name. Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a terrible power. I have a tail. So I can, sort of like if I'm up against someone who doesn't have any powers, then I can sort of outmatch them in a fight. Maybe. I hope they don't have a gun, because if they have a gun, they're much stronger than me. His power? Gun. He owns a gun. Yeah. Gun for All is going to beat Ochiro every day. Every second. Ochiro is proof that Deku could have been a hero without a quirk.
Anybody else? The more the merrier. Oh, wow, we got a few hands. Okay, let's take you in the very back corner, and then I'll go 1, 2. Right, thank you. So,
still on it. Stupid tail. At least Tape Guy can do some mobility tricks with it. Elbow Tape. What's his name? Zero. Yes. Okay, Zero. Yeah, him. Hello.
Hi, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Claire, and I was wondering, what has been your favorite role that you've gotten into voice?
You gotta show him your hand. Show them too. That's great. My favorite character I've gotten a voice? Oh, that's so hard. Yeah, probably Senku in Dr. Stone. He gets to do so many crazy things. What I really love about Senku, I love doing something very different from myself, and his like raw like confidence is really fun to portray. And then the other thing is there's something that I really like about him that I deeply relate to, which is that sort of comedic sadism that he has for his friends. So like if my friend is suffering, in a moderate way, then I really enjoy cackling at them. And Senku and I are similar in that way. So it's like, are you getting, for example, my girlfriend, she's a mosquito magnet. And so if we're out like having a picnic or going through the woods and she's like, oh my gosh, there's so many mosquitoes. I'm like, yeah, thanks for keeping them off me.
Yep.
Appreciate it. And that's like Senku's energy to the T. So yeah, that's why.
Did you bring your girlfriend down here for this trip to help you from the Miami mosquitoes?
Nope.
Barred mosquitoes. Oh,
I should have.
They're getting you. You got to get that.
I wasn't thinking.
That's a quirk. No mosquito repellent. Okay. And then yeah, Pikachu. Sorry. Name and question.
My name is Leticia, and you said before that a quirk you would like to have is teleportation. If you could teleport, like the first place you could teleport, where would it be? Like anywhere?
Just gut reaction, like where I go right now is top of Pyramids of Giza.
You almost said Taco Bell.
top of I was like, oh my god,
Taco Bell, then the Pyramids of Giza.
I think we got a food truck for you.
So I think you're like most of us, where you'd get food and then go somewhere nice.
Yeah.
You say top of, yeah.
So I teleport to Taco Bell. I take the food right out of somebody's waiting hands, and then I'm on top of Giza eating a taco.
I like you threw that in there, not like ordered it in the kitchen, like out of someone's hands specifically, so you get the bonus of also denying someone their food.
You also get the bonus of keeping your money.
You are a villain.
That's mean. You just took someone's food.
I'll give the money. I'll go to the top of the pyramid.
So you're basically paying for someone else's food.
But you skipped the line and got to the top of the pyramids.
All right, I'll pay them a little extra.
Convenience fee.
But listen, this is very exciting. I'll make it up. I'll win on the karmic scale, because then I'll go and I'll what can I do with teleportation that's righteous? Yeah.
How are you gonna save a puppy?
Keep it nice.
Then I'll go to the pound.
Just
and I'll teleport all the puppies out, and they'll be free.
Take them all out before day of.
That wouldn't be helpful at all.
So top of pyramids. That sounds excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
From the back. There you go. Name and question.
Hi, I'm Giovanna.
Hello. We met.
We did.
Very good.
You said that having an acting degree was important, and you also mentioned theater. I'm a theater kid.
Nice.
I've been doing theater about 5 years. I wanted to know if you had any performance, not like behind the screen, but on stage experience.
Yeah, so I do not have an acting degree, I should say. So it's not necessarily that it's not essential that you have an acting degree, obviously. But it can be a big advantage, especially if you're cold auditioning for a big studio. Or if you're, more importantly, it's very useful for getting an agent. Mm-hmm. And at some places, like, for example, your best bet with getting to audition for Bang Zoom in LA, they do like the Demon Slayer dub, Mob Psycho dub, stuff like that. Your best bet for that is to get in with Atlas Talent, the biggest agency for voice actors out there. Okay. And to get in with Atlas Talent, you probably, like, an acting degree would be really helpful. Short of an acting degree, you want a very long resume. Okay. Showing that you've done work like what they would be giving you auditions for. I was just gonna say something. Oh, right, my theater experience. Okay, so I did theater towards the end of high school, and then in college, I auditioned my freshman year for their plays, and I wanted to be a theater major, but I sort of was like trying to figure out if I was going to be good enough. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do voice acting and like live at it. And I still don't live at voice acting. I live at adaptive writing and voice acting. But I was kind of trying to figure out if I was going to be good enough. And so I told myself, like, all right, if I get into some plays, then I'll do it. And if I don't, then I won't. And it turned out that they were like, I did the audition and they're like, all right, well, we're going to do callbacks. So we might see you, we might not. And they took down all my information, including my phone number. And so I thought that they would call me back.
And they never did?
They did not call. They posted a list of names in the department, and I did not know to look for it because they took my number down, so I thought they'd call.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did not call. So callbacks, a little bit misleading. It's more like postbacks or
information.
Check for our list backs.
You come back and check the post.
So anyway, once that happened, I was kind of screwed, and so I wasn't able to justify being a theater major. And because I wasn't a theater major, I wasn't able to keep auditioning for the stuff. And so that's why I didn't do much theater in college, but I ended up doing community theater in college. So I did stuff with mostly with a little group called Sundown Theater. Yes, Sundown. That's confusing because I have another friend who's part of the Sunrise group. What is this con called?
City of Sunrise, so Sunrise ComicCon.
So
How does sunrise is
confusing.
in your?
There's a lot of sun-related stuff happening in my life right now. It's a lot. But yeah, I've done several plays now. The last play that I did was The Pillow Man, which is by the guy who wrote Seven Psychopaths. I forget what his name is. I don't know. Martin McDonagh, I think. He's like an Irish writer. It was very fun though. Yeah, and theater has been very helpful for me mostly because it is always going to be more anxious to perform in front of a live audience than to perform in front of one or two people. And so succeeding in a theater environment really set me up to feel like I was equipped to handle auditioning for new people. So basically, I'm not as scared whenever I'm auditioning in front of two people because I've performed in front of 50. And I've never done theater for more than the crowd of like 50 people. So yeah, it's not like it has to be like super huge theater either. It's more about just finding a community to jive with and
getting the experience.
Getting the experience.
Well, we could take. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more question, and we're going to start wrapping up. So since we haven't had we'll do two more. Her in the back, and then we'll come to you. No, not behind you. Sorry. There you go.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, we also met earlier. Hey.
Yes. How have you
So
been?
my name is Cindy, and my question for you is, well, I have two. Is that okay? What's your favorite color?
Red.
Same.
Right now. It changes.
Nice.
And what's your favorite villain in My Hero Academia?
The favorites questions are always so hard.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's been a minute, and I feel like I might be missing one.
We're getting a Yoda impression now.
I think Dobby's really interesting. I'll go with that. This is a little bit. No. I have to say it. No, my favorite villain is Endeavor. But he's a villain. But he's my favorite of the villains because he's interesting and confusing. And I think that reflects real people who do bad things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Last question, and he will be at his table. You're staying till what time today? You'll be at your table today till what time? Till the end of the con? 6?
Oh yeah. I'll be around the con till 6. And I'm definitely doing another free signing right some like 30 minutes after this, I think.
Okay.
Or
perfect.
maybe right after this. I don't know.
No. Well, your handler will.
From 3 to 4, I'll be doing another signing.
Oh, there we go.
But I think I've seen most of y'all.
And name a question.
Hi, I'm Maya, and I wanted to know which character have you voiced that is the most difficult, whether that's like personality, voice inflection, accent. Which one was like the hardest for you to do?
Probably Shirogane in Kaguya-sama Love is War. He's the Japanese actor has a very deep register, and I think it's important to keep that because masculinity is like this important thing to him. And I don't know if you can tell, but masculinity is less important to me. And thank goodness, because if it was important to me, I would be very unhappy with myself. So trying to get into that mindset. And then the other thing about him is that he's sort of like he alternates between being like Lelouch or like Light from Death Note, from being in that mindset to being like straight up like sort of a white picket fence guy who's meticulously mowing his lawn, like a Dave Chappelle's rendition of a white guy. He alternates between those two extremes and does all of it at a deeper register than I'm used to doing. So that's why he's been the hardest. And also he freaks out about weird stuff. Like the most upset that he's ever been is when Kaguya blushed while saying that she liked the thing that they were doing a 20 questions thing about, because he started to think it might be him. And it's like almost having what you want is more upsetting than not having it in a way. Like the stress of it, just he was dying inside. So yeah, those emotional extremes also make him difficult.
Thank you so much. That's a great question. Well, Aaron, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, listen, I don't like doing this part. This is usually Yopi's shtick, right? The word shtick is funny. Anyways, this is usually Yopi's thing, and, well, here we go. So, if you want to contact us, you can email us at contact Fanatically Correct. That's not our email. Contact FanCor at gmail.com. What else? You can find us at Instagram at FanCorrect, Twitter at FanCorrect. What else? Linktree. See, I'm texting these guys to send me the information, and look, Omega just said, seriously, didn't you set it up? Yes, I did. I just don't have it with me while I'm recording. So, our Linktree is... Hold on, I'm gonna insert here from last episode. Basically, just go to our Linktree, man. You go to our Linktree, everything's there. All the links are there. linktr.ee/fancorrect. There you'll have all the links to our, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and please review us on Apple Podcasts. That would be a huge help. Instagram, Twitter, we got it all. And that's it. Oh, and if you also want to give us a call at 786-704-8404, then you could do that as well. And that's the power of editing. See, I could just do whatever I want, and it seems pretty seamless. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for listening, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully it will be soon. So this is MSK. Peace out.
This is Omega saying peace.
Yo, peace. Peters.
Wait, what just happened? What just happened here?
And there you have it, folks. This has been Fanatically Correct. Until next time, you crazy kids. Signing off.